I tried to tell people, I said, you know what? Listen, let's not brag about Xbox having these exclusives at the end of the year because it's silly to do, because you don't have to be some kind of expert or prognosticator to realize that Sony had games coming out at the beginning of this year, and Microsoft was going to struggle with games to come out at the beginning part of this year. So why brag about it, right? It's just like I'm telling PlayStation fans, don't brag about these games coming out early and Microsoft not having anything, because you're going to set yourself up again like we did this past year, where, you know, Microsoft released heavy hitters like Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite, and Sony had nothing, absolutely bupkis to release. So it really makes no sense to go back and forth and kind of fanboy out that way. I get it. Trust me, I'm a fanboy. I get the whole trench war and all that kind of stuff, but I just don't understand how people don't realize and look ahead and be intelligent enough to realize that this kind of stuff is going to continually happen. Now, I want to get into this because something happened to Microsoft, and it's looked at as a very negative thing, and I understand that. I think the main point that I would like to make is it doesn't really make a lot of sense to brag about this or talk about this if you're a PlayStation fan, or use it as a talking point. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey there, everyone. I'm the Crapgamer, and of course, this is Crapgamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and so much more. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to spend some of your free time with me today. It really does mean a lot to me. You guys are amazing. God bless all of you. I think the world of you guys, and I appreciate the love and support and stuff like that. So thank you guys very much. Now, whenever I talked about, or anybody talked about, the games that are coming out this year for PlayStation, like we know February, the locked-in date for Horizon Forbidden West, that's a huge AAA exclusive from Sony. We know Gran Turismo 7, March 4th, huge AAA exclusive for Sony. We even know that Forspoken, console exclusive, coming out a couple months later, a huge AAA console exclusive for Sony. We know God of War Ragnarok is coming out some point this year. We know that stuff like Sifu and other games are coming out this year for Sony as well. Now, mostly focus on the first and I guess the second party stuff. I mean, there's also stuff like Ghostwire Tokyo, which is a Bethesda game that's going to be exclusive to PlayStation this year, much the way Deathloop was last year. But anyway, I mean, there's going to be a very good year for PlayStation. Xbox was always going to be a little bit tougher, a little bit drier year in terms of first party, and I feel like next year was when Microsoft was really going to kind of come into their own. Now, who could have predicted that 2023 would have been the year Microsoft started releasing their games regularly? I don't know. If only somebody could have come out and said that back in 2017, 2018, and not been called a fearmonger. It's so crazy, right? But look, I'm over it. It was easy enough to kind of, like I said, you don't have to be an insider to look at these things and go, hey, they're not going to be able to come out. These studios aren't going to be able to come out with anything until 2023 because they're already busy with something or whatever. It didn't really take a genius to do that. Now, here's the interesting thing is, it looks like exclusive Redfall, the Arcane / Bethesda game, is going to be delayed as well. So a new rumor making the rounds, of course this is just a rumor so far, take it with a grain of salt, that Redfall could be getting delayed. One of the surprise game announcements at Microsoft's E3 2021 press conference was the co-op vampire slaying game Redfall from Arcane Studios. Arcane is primarily known for single-player experiences, so Redfall is quite the departure for the studio and from their usual work, but that has lent itself to some extra intrigue from the community. While a specific release date for the game hasn't been announced at the time of the writing, it's believed that Redfall is looking to launch at some point in the summer of 2022. Unfortunately, the latest rumors suggest that Redfall may not meet its planned summer 2022 release window. According to a recent podcast, which is the Colin Moriarty Defining Duke podcast, which is basically his version of an Xbox podcast, and he has different Xbox hosts. Redfall's release date may have been pushed back. They think that it's possible that Redfall will now release at some point this holiday season as opposed to the summer, which would be a big blow for the Xbox exclusive lineup in the first half of 2022 to say the least. If the Redfall release date is delayed as the rumor suggests, then it should leave a pretty big gap between first-party Xbox releases based on games we know about right now. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, while not a first-party Xbox game, is nevertheless an Xbox console exclusive that was supposed to launch in April, only for it to get delayed all the way to December. And if Redfall suffers a similar delay, then Xbox may have a very top-heavy 2022. it's not going to look good. So again, the end of 2022 is looking especially busy for Xbox with Stalker 2 dropping in December and Bethesda's Starfield releasing November 11th. Redfall getting pushed back to the holiday season would make things even busier, potentially pulling attention away from other Xbox exclusives releasing around the same time. Now, it's always possible that Xbox has some surprises up its sleeve and will have more first-party games on deck for the first half of 2022, but that remains to be seen. In the meantime, one has to imagine that Xbox will make up for the potential Redfall delay by bolstering the Xbox Game Pass lineup with more third-party deals, like how it's doing with Rainbow Six Extraction to Game Pass day one. For now, though, fans will have to wait and see what happens with co-op vampire shooter Redfall as it stands. The Redfall release date delay is merely a rumor, so obviously, take it with a grain of salt as things kind of go forward. Now, we did see some leaked images from this game last year, and now I kind of wanted to point out that, it's interesting because these are some leaked games, but also it didn't look very good. I guess it was early alpha or whatever, so anything can really have... anything really can happen. So it's very interesting to see how these kind of things all come about and how everything sort of just works out. I'm not saying that I think Redfall will be bad. I think Redfall is going to struggle because it's not something here's the thought process. It could be a good game, right? It could be a great game, but the problem with these online games like this is that they tend to kind of lose their welcome really fast, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Now, look at, what is that, Bound in Blood or whatever it is, or that Left 4 Dead clone. Nobody even plays that game. It's like Outriders, nobody plays that game. Like these type of games, I think Extraction is another one of those games that's not going to do very well. And I think also, it's Back 4 Blood. Now, Back 4 Blood, the interesting thing is it has like crossplay and all that kind of stuff between generations, whereas, Redfall is current gen only. So you'll only have however many Xbox Series X's and S's there are, the 12 million or whatever, and then of course PC. But again, the PC landscape is so kind of all over the place because they seem to play something and then totally jump off that and then jump into something, you know what I mean? Like that's how PC tends to always do things, and so I think that could potentially hurt Redfall as well at the end of the day. So I really do think that the game's in for a bit of a struggle. But at the same time, I mean, listen, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? I mean, I think that's really what it kind of comes down to. Waiting and seeing and hoping that, everything can kind of work out for the best, But it does look like it'll be a tough situation for Xbox at the first part of the year. I mean, hopefully they get that Forza Motorsport later on, and obviously we're hoping that Starfield doesn't get delayed because that would suck. So I do hope that they kind of get things kind of worked out and that everything kind of works out for the best. And at the same time, obviously, hopefully they have some games that actually surprise us as well, because that would be amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I will link all this in the description below. You guys can check it out. Rack them up, fact them up, crap gamer them up. Crap gamer out.